Understand this. You control your narrative on social media. Nothing gets put out unless you post it or you press publish. Welcome back, everybody, to the Just and Know podcast, where we make knowledge your strongest weapon.
Welcome back, folks. We hope everybody's doing well today, as usual. Your boy Anaz, your boy Just.
So in today's episode, we're going to talk about the importance of your social media presence, right? This came about because a viewer, right, with the comment somewhere up above, that about your social credit score. And it got us thinking, what is a social credit score, right? And what are the things that you could do to improve it? And make sure that you watch the entire video because we're going to go over what a social credit score is, how you can improve it, and the importance of having it, right? So, by the way, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're going to be talking about a lot of content that's going to improve you as a person, better your social media presence. And also, if you're listening to this on any of the podcasts, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Amazon Music, please give us a follow so that you can be on the journey just with us and improve yourself as a person, right? So, in your definition, right, what is a social credit score?
I'm sure a lot of us hopefully are familiar with financial credit score. So social credit score is relatively the same thing, but when it comes in terms of your social media presence, your activity, how you present yourself as a person through social media, and essentially, it's basically how somebody who doesn't know you from a can of paint will be able to, because we're all judged through our social media. Don't let it fool you. It's going to allow somebody who doesn't know you from a can of paint, like I said, to dictate whether or not you are of value, you are a person worthy of interacting with, maybe embarking on a journey with, and possibly leading to business and network opportunities. So you want to keep your social credit score as high as possible, and you want to limit the amount of damage that you do to your social credit score.
Yeah, so there's a lot of key factors when it comes to your social credit score in a sense, right? There is definitely your presentation and how you present yourself well, because at the end of the day, social media is used to expand your presence to other people, and there's people that's not going to get to know you, so they have to base it upon what you show, and social media is a big proponent of that. So we're trying to say here that presentation is very important and that your social media presence has a lot to do with your success and how people take you from people that don't know you at all.
Yeah, and this doesn't have to be exclusively for content creators. You can be a person who doesn't seek to go viral or to make it big via social media, but you still need to have a clean and respectable social credit score. As in, for example, I like to relate it to a LinkedIn profile. When you're looking for, you're in a certain industry, a field, a line of work, and your LinkedIn profile is of high value and it's well maintained, it can lead to a lot of job opportunities, a lot of networking opportunities. If you're a person who just makes a basic LinkedIn profile, your
Mhm.
chances of finding somebody to join a company to be a part of, somebody to network with, are going to be a lot lower than somebody who puts in effort and makes sure that it's of value.
Yes. And with a social media presence, right? Networking is probably one of the biggest things inside of this world as its entirety. You can't want to expand and grow without working with other people. And say if you're in one country and you want to do business with somebody from another country, there's no way they're gonna personally meet you unless they're, go on the phone with you or they, meet with you. So social media is a way that they can actually judge you as an individual and understand of whether it is necessary for them to meet with you or even if it's a good possibility for them to meet with you. So what you present on social media is definitely importance of networking. Somebody could literally say like, okay, this person is portraying themselves as a good, businessman or a business lady, and I think I could work with them. But if you're portraying them as, this person that's very negative on social media, even though that you might not even be that person, but you're portraying it, gives off a certain of a bad demeanor towards you, and it could actually short you from your possible opportunities.
Yeah, maybe it'll hit home a little harder for the viewers if I related it to something like the Shark Tank. The
Hmm.
reason why I bring up the Shark Tank is because basically what Shark Tank is a growing, rising entrepreneur gets on there and is looking for investors, right? Actively looking for investors and basically poses to them their idea and where their head is at. And then the investors get to gauge whether it's worth continuing, whether it's worth putting money and effort into them and partnering up with this person. So, social media, your social credit score can basically do those things for you without you even really knowing, without you actively seeking that. For example, there's people who create content or put something out on their social media that garners the attention, garners some attraction from people that they otherwise would have never been able to have a back and forth with, to have a business minded conversation with. If you put something out there that a rich person is interested in and they just see some spark in you, some potential in you, I'm sure them being where they are, it will provoke them to reach out to you if they really like where you're at, if they see value in what you're displaying, then it's a quick way of just knocking on that door of opportunity.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know if you guys have been seeing a lot of these content creators are being sponsored and making partnerships with certain businesses, right? They wouldn't have been able to be in the likes of those businesses without the ability of social media, because it gets to put you on a higher level and get you reach to other people in companies so that they can make a partnership with you. So if a company reaches out to you and they see that your social media profile is I guess what, obnoxious or
Lackluster.
lackluster, they're not going to want to invest their time and their PR team into you, so that because at the end of the day, a business wants to be promoted in a way that it's in a good likes. So if they see you as a person that's always negative, they're not gonna put their efforts into you, because you might actually bring down the core value of that company, and they see you as a risk. So if you do want to have potential job opportunities and get sponsored by companies and all those things, you have to keep an image that a company is going to want. Other than that, you're not going to be able to make any type of money with these companies, because that's a risk of an investment that they make.
Yeah, I guess we see it time and time again. We live in a wildfire cancel culture, so people build themselves over the years. We see it time and time again, and they might have a history that goes as far back as 15 years ago, and their recent activities, their recent behavior has been absolutely spotless. And then for some reason, somebody goes and digs up something from 15 years ago. Now all of a sudden, this person is in hot water because their social credit score was not maintained properly. And
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty hard to take this into account. To take into account that something you posted 15 years ago. But hopefully, what we're trying to do today, what we're trying to learn today, is how to be mindful of that
Mhm.
and how to looking going forward, be sure that you're not leaving trails that's going to lead to problems and going to lead to your demise or going to close the door to opportunity for you in the future.
Yes. So honestly, and we say this as a social credit score because just like a credit score, right? You can have a bad credit score starting out, or major mishaps, or because all of us makes mistakes at the end of the day, right? But it's what you do to move forward and how you keep a clean image to the way people can trust you, because you could do something bad depending on how bad it is though. But you can do something bad beforehand and then work constantly to improve it and fix it, and then keep it as a consistency that this is you right now. But with social media, right, nothing gets deleted ever. So what we're trying to do is keep you mindful and take a preventative approach to portray yourself as this person right? And not even just portray yourself as this person. You actually kind of want to live this life too. Because if you're one way in person and one way on social media, at the end of the day, you're going to be a fraud. Somebody's going to see through that. So you could portray yourself as this good, outstanding person, right? And then you get the business opportunity and somebody reaches out to you, but in person, you're an absolute mess, right?
Or it could be the flip side.
Yeah, it could be the flip side.
You
You
could
could,
be a great person and you could portray yourself as, you know, a sexist,
a
whatever, a
racist.
racist,
Mhm.
a hypocrite, a fraud. You could portray yourself as that, thinking that, oh, I'm just, just I'm just frauding on social media. It's social media, whatever. It has no significance. It has no impact on me. And in reality, you could be a great person, but because you're portraying that and showing that on your social media, somebody who doesn't know that you're a great person, somebody who's not part of your everyday life, who hasn't crossed paths with you yet, is going to cross you out before you ever got a chance to display
That
your
is
true
facts.
personality.
That is facts. Like, honestly, I say live your life as you will in person, also on social media. But, of course, you're not supposed to put your entire life on social media. That's not a thing. That should never happen. But don't ever portray yourself for somebody that you're not, because you're going to get called out on it some point in time. You may not get called on it now, 2 years later, but eventually somebody is going to bring it to the light, and that's going to discredit everything that you worked for. And that cannot be a possibility if you're trying to be successful.
Yeah. So, you don't want to put yourself in a position where you've worked hard. You spent years building relationships. Everybody who knows you has nothing but good to say about you. And for some reason on social media, you're posting things that brings down your honor, brings down your ability to be respected, the way people see you, um, and brings down your value that you otherwise would bring to somebody in a business endeavor, just because they see you as maybe a liability
Yeah.
on social media. They see you as somebody who's, liable to bring negative attention, bad media attention, a lot of hate, a lot of criticism. You don't want to do that. Even if you think you're joking, others don't see it like that.
They don't.
Don't take into you have to take into account the fact that the way that you think you're using social media is not going to be the same way that somebody else sees your social media. If you may think, oh, I'm just, I'm online just bullshitting, somebody else just sees that, and that's all they have to judge you and to decide whether you're of value, whether you're worth interacting with. So don't let that go right over your head.
Mhm. And also, I would say this too, just like a credit score, as we would always say, right? You can build off of having nothing. Now, if you have done something and it's bad, it's harder to build yourself up to be, a better person, to have a better credit score. So, like we would say, it is better to start from scratch than it is to start from a bad past. So make sure that if you don't have a social media presence and you're watching this video, start off your social media journey with it being good. Because if you start off with it being bad, it's going to be harder to fix it. And it's not just like a credit score where you can go see a report and it doesn't show you with a video perspective of you using cards or making purchases or whatever have you. It doesn't show those things. But social media does. So it's harder to build that back up from starting off in a bad way than it is for an actual credit score. So you have to be more aware and more preventative in the things that you do on social media so that you're able to be presented as a well person and actually be able to get business partnerships and sponsorships with what you have.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of high profile people that exist that don't really have any sort of social media presence. They might have a very private profile, close friends and family, and that's not going to hurt them. It's as good as no credit score. So it's okay to be that person. Nobody's saying you have to have a great one, but you have to make sure to not have one that's going to bring you down and diminish your chances of having furthering opportunities, of having bigger business opportunities, of having better networking opportunities. You never know. You really never know who comes across what you're putting out on social media. It could be just one day, some high profile person, high value, successful individual is, I guess watching, scrolling through videos that has, some that causes some uh moves some bone in their body that's a reason for intriguing. It's intriguing to them, and you have something on social media that I guess is part of that, part of what they were looking for. And boom, they landed on your page. Now all of a sudden they're wondering, like, oh wow, this person has a lot of potential, or this person is somebody I gotta stay away from. You would hope that when they come across your video or your content or whatever your post is, your sharing of information, that they see you as a person that has some potential, and maybe, you never know, they reach out to you and they invest in you. Like, you wouldn't be it's not uncommon for things like this to happen. Small business owners, a person who's starting off in their journey of work, whatever the profession is, and all it takes is that one opportunity that will lead to many more.
Yes, yes. And please, if you don't take anything out of this video, this is a topic right here that's going to hit home for a lot of people. And it's going to, I would say for right now, it might not be that big of a thing because a lot of people are getting away with a lot of things. But this is going to be important for the rest of your life, of because social media is only getting bigger. It's only getting bigger and more money is being put into it. So it's going to be a dictator on your success in the future. So understand this: you control your narrative on social media, okay? Right? Nothing gets put out unless you post it or you press publish. It has to be on your phone before you put it in the drafts and you send it. You control your narrative. So make sure that the narrative that you want is the one that you want to have for the world to see, right? Nothing gets deleted, right? Truly, because you can post something and delete it tomorrow, but if somebody has saved it, it's there forever, as much times as they want to share it. So understand that you have to control the way how you portray yourself in person and on social media, even more so on social media, because you're not going to meet everybody that actually sees you on social media. So you have to portray yourself as that type of person that you are in you have to portray yourself as a person that you are in real life on social media so that people can actually see you for who you are and give you the best amount of blessings and the best amount of opportunities from the actual person that you are.
Yeah, I think authenticity is priceless. So you want to remain e- even keeled. You want to be the person that, if someone just seen you on social media, and then 3 years down the road they met you, or 2 years, however long time, however much time passes between them coming across your social media work versus meeting you in person, you don't want them to ever think like, oh snap, this isn't the person that I thought they were. You want to be authentic. You want to be able to say, yeah, what I put on social media is a representation, and not a full representation, but it has to be a true representation. It might represent 10% of you, but that 10% has to be completely real. It
Mhm.
can't be, oh, it only represents a small part of my life and it's fraudulent. Like, no, if it's going to represent a small part of you, cool. That's perfectly fine, but let it be real. You don't want to be a person who, for example, seems like a very caring, selfless person, and then somebody reaches out to you. Now all of a sudden you're this closed off, selfish, cold-hearted person. Like, that's not a good look. That's not going to yield positive results. That's going to scare away a lot of people from even reaching out to you in the future, because let's say it's a successful person, a high profile person who has a lot of things that they can offer you in terms of networking and opportunities. If that person is turned off by you after they met you because they originally thought you might be a good person, or they're turned off by you from your social media, even though you're a good person, it's gonna lead to more people being. It's not that person's not gonna keep it to themselves.
Mhm.
They're gonna tell their high profile friends like, oh, I thought this person had a lot of potential. They turned out not to be a good person, or I feel like this person. is a evil intentioned person on their social media, and even though what they seem that they what what they seem to do in their professional life seems like it's okay and promising, their personality is pretty off. You know, it's just gonna turn off people that otherwise you would hope to come across and come in contact with and to do business with. You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot. Just you can just keep your social credit history at zero. Just don't make it bad. Don't put things out there that you're gonna have to explain to somebody like, oh nah, it was just social media. It wasn't that serious.
Mhm.
Nah, to them it's that serious. They don't know you from a can of paint. So they're only seeing what you're giving them.
Yeah, no, and also I would say to summarize everything, that you have to understand that social media is a big prevalent thing in this world today and it's only getting bigger. You have to understand your social media presence and how it is portrayed to the world because it's very important in the way of for your jobs and for potentially getting income because at the end of the day, social media is a business. You have to understand the key factors of that, presenting yourself well and make sure that you don't do anything bad on social media. And you have to understand also that you can control the narrative and it's up to you at the end of the day. So don't blame anyone else for what you post on social media and how people interpret it, right? Don't post anything that's left up to interpretation because at the end of the day, it's on you, right? So is anything that you want to say just to give to the viewers about social media presence and their social credit score?
Yeah, I could use myself for example. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I've never really been a big fan of actively seeking growth on social media,
Mhm.
and unfortunately, sometimes in life, or fortunately, depending on your approach, you gotta be able to adapt and you gotta be able to use things to your advantage. So
Mhm.
for me, I've never really put much thought into this, but as of recent, I feel like I can there's can be a lot of good that comes out of me putting some effort into first building a social credit history and second building a good social credit score and a good social media presence. And I'm not going to be so stubborn in my way, so stuck in my ways that's like, okay, because for the last 7 years, I haven't given a shit about social media, that it's going to remain like that forever. Like, nah, you got to adapt. We're using ourselves as examples of the things that we speak about and we're trying to, me and you, I'm sure, are trying to make
Mhm.
improvements every day in our life. And for me personally, this is a journey that's one kind of new to me in the sense of me actually caring about it. And two, I've flipped that thought of, oh, it doesn't matter to, yeah, it might not matter as much as I think it does, but it matters to a lot of people and a lot of different opportunities that I would like to see if I could get into. So, with that being true, with that being the truth, I want to be able to have a social credit score and I want it to be good. I don't want it to be something that's holding me back. If this is a tool that I have to use in order to further the improvement in my life, then I'm not just gonna shy away from it because it was never something of in my interest. It was never of my interest. Like, no, it's okay to make that change of like, okay, I didn't think something could yield such results to, okay, maybe I should see where this takes me. It's okay to do that. This is what we're trying to do every time any subject we speak on. That's what we're trying to get out of it. Like, it might not be that significant to you currently or as of recent, but hopefully going forward you could see some significance in it and you could try to maximize the opportunity and take the tools that you have in front of you and put them to use.
Yeah, and honestly, like I would say this because this is kind of my story of everything, right? Before I was really into business and owning my own business and doing things around business with marketing and everything like that, right? I didn't really pay too much with social media. I was just there for the fun. And honestly, I've posted some things that looking back at it, like I
Just
probably
so
shouldn't have posted on it. And I probably had, I wouldn't say not a bad credit score with social media, but it could have been a lot better, but I'm working every single day to improve that and promote my social media presence because as me being going to school for business, right, which is marketing is one of my majors, right, that marketing is a big tool and without marketing, if people can't see who you are and people don't trust who you are and you can't reach those people, you're not going to be able to sell a product, which is yourself at the end of the day, because you are the business. You are the foundation of the business. If people can't trust you, they're not going to trust your businesses. So now I'm looking at the fact that social media is one of the biggest marketing tools ever, right? That now, because you see how social media before, well, not even social media, just media in general, was, TV ads and stuff like this, where you have to pay a lot of money for, and you have to be this type of person or this type of business to be able to afford those things. Social media is now free, right? It's free. It's free to promote. You have organic reach, and I'm using it as the biggest tool in my businesses, in my life, to promote myself and to get better at promoting the products that I would like to, provide to the world, which is just like this channel where we make knowledge your strongest weapon. And I've really dictated everything in my life to learning. And this is one of the stepping stones in my life to learn to portray myself like the person that I want to be in the future. And having a social media presence is actually a part of that. And it's something that I definitely want to improve upon. And I'm just saying it to you guys that no matter where you start, you can always improve, but you have to put it inside of your head that, yes, I could probably be better on social media. And ask yourself this question: is what I'm doing right now on social media going to benefit me for the future? If that question is, to the answer to that question is no, then it's probably should not be posted for the world to see, because if those things are posted, you won't be able to truly erase it. And it can be used to your detriment later on in life. So to end this video,
I just want a quick side note.
Yeah,
not
go ahead.
To cut you off. So, we're going to ride together, my brother, on this one. I'm sure you have, like you just mentioned, and I'm damn sure about myself. I've posted things 7 years ago or put things out that weren't an accurate presentation of me, or at least right now, they're not an accurate presentation of me. So for those people who are going to try to bring me down in the future or bring you down, you got to at least listen. If you're going to have a little bit of a bad history, at least make sure that you've improved upon it within yourself. So when the time comes, you actually could authentically discredit, like, okay, you could say, yeah, that might have been something I posted 7 years ago, but I'm a changed person. So for me saying this, what I'm trying to get across, the message I'm trying to get across right now is that I'm sure that there's things that I've posted 7 years ago that I'm not proud of. And 5 years ago, I'm an ever-changing person, and I continue to always be open to change. I want to continue to always be able to change and be able to say the person I was 3 years ago is not the person I was today, and the person I'm going to be in 5 years is not the person I am today. I want to be able to say those things. So don't worry. If you got a little bit of a dirty history, it's okay. Just be mindful of moving forward. One, actually changing as a person aside from social media, and two, being more vigilant and more mindful of what you're putting out there.
Of course. So we want to thank you for staying this long on this episode. And this has been another episode of the Justin and No podcast, where we make knowledge your strongest weapon. And also, I would like to say this to leave you off with a question. What is your social media score? What do you think your social media score is? And comment that down below. And I would say for a scale, because we didn't even give them a scale. Let's just be simple. 1 to 10. What is your social media credit score? And what could you do to improve it? Right? This has been another episode of the Justin No podcast, where we make knowledge your strongest weapon. You guys have a great day.
As always, blessings, peace. Thank you for coming.